What is the meaning of life? To write a philosophical essay incorporating thoughts from leading philosophers, we must first decide on a central theme or question. A timeless and fundamental question in philosophy is, what is the meaning of life? This question has been explored by numerous philosophers throughout history, each offering a unique perspective on what gives life purpose and significance. The meaning of life, a philosophical inquiry. The search for the meaning of life is perhaps the most enduring and profound question in the history of human thought. From ancient times to the present day, philosophers have grappled with this question, offering diverse and often contradictory answers. In this essay, we will explore various philosophical perspectives on the meaning of life, drawing on the thoughts of existentialists, nihilists, utilitarians, and more. Existentialism, life's meaning through authenticity. Existentialism, a philosophical movement that gained prominence in the 20th century, argues that life's meaning is not inherent but must be created by each individual. Jean-Paul Sartre, one of the leading existentialist philosophers, famously declared, "Existence precedes essence." By this, he meant that humans are not born with a predetermined purpose. Instead, we create our essence, our meaning, through our choices and actions. For Sartre, the responsibility of creating meaning in a seemingly indifferent universe is both liberating and burdensome. He emphasizes the importance of living authentically, making choices that reflect one's true self, rather than conforming to societal expectations. This idea is illustrated in his play No Exit, where the characters are trapped in a room together, realizing that hell is other people because they are constantly being judged by one another. The play underscores the existentialist belief that living inauthentically, by allowing others to define one's life, leads to a lack of genuine meaning. Simone de Beauvoir, another existentialist philosopher, builds on Sartre's ideas, particularly in her work The Ethics of Ambiguity. She argues that while life is inherently ambiguous and uncertain, we can find meaning through our projects and relationships. By committing ourselves to causes, people, and goals that resonate with our values, we create a sense of purpose. However, de Beauvoir also warns against the danger of turning these projects into rigid identities, as this can lead to a loss of freedom and authenticity. Nihilism, the absence of meaning. In stark contrast to existentialism, nihilism posits that life has no inherent meaning or value. Friedrich Nietzsche, often associated with nihilism, proclaimed the death of God, signaling the collapse of traditional religious and moral values that once provided meaning to life. Nietzsche argued that without these values, humanity is faced with a void, great nothingness, where life appears meaningless. However, Nietzsche's response to this nihilism was not despair but the idea of the Übermensch, or overman. In Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Nietzsche describes the Übermensch as an individual who creates their own values and meaning in the face of a meaningless universe. This figure embraces life's challenges and uncertainties, affirming existence through the creative act of value-making. Nietzsche's concept of eternal recurrence further illustrates his philosophy. He challenges us to imagine living our lives over and over again, eternally. If we can embrace this thought with joy, then we have found meaning in life. This idea encourages us to live as though each moment is eternally significant, finding meaning in the act of living itself, even if life lacks inherent purpose. Utilitarianism, the greatest happiness principle. Utilitarianism offers a different approach to the meaning of life, focusing on the consequences of actions rather than the inherent nature of existence. Jeremy Bentham, the founder of utilitarianism, proposed that the meaning of life is to maximize happiness and minimize suffering. His famous greatest happiness principle suggests that the right action is the one that produces the greatest amount of happiness for the greatest number of people. John Stuart Mill, a later utilitarian philosopher, refined Bentham's ideas, distinguishing between higher and lower pleasures. Mill argued that intellectual and moral pleasures, higher pleasures, are superior to mere physical pleasure, lower pleasures. For Mill, a meaningful life is one that cultivates the higher faculties, seeking happiness not just in personal gratification but in contributing to the well-being of society. Utilitarianism's emphasis on collective happiness can be seen as a response to the individualism of existentialism and the despair of nihilism. It suggests that meaning is found not in personal authenticity or value creation, but in actions that promote the greater good. However, critics of utilitarianism argue that it reduces life's meaning to a calculus of pleasure and pain, overlooking the intrinsic value of individual experiences and relationships. Absurdism, embracing the absurd. Albert Camus, a philosopher often associated with both existentialism and absurdism, explores the idea of life's absurdity in the myth of Sisyphus. Camus argues that life is inherently absurd because humans seek meaning in a universe that offers none. The myth of Sisyphus, who was condemned to roll a boulder up a hill only to have it roll back down each time, symbolizes the human condition, an endless struggle without ultimate purpose. However, Camus does not advocate for despair or resignation in the face of the absurd. Instead, he proposes that we must imagine Sisyphus as happy, finding meaning in the struggle itself. For Camus, the act of rebellion against the absurd, continuing to search for meaning and live fully despite the lack of inherent purpose, is where meaning is found. This idea resonates with existentialist themes, particularly the notion of creating meaning through one's actions. Yet, Camus differs from existentialists like Sartre in that he does not believe in the possibility of fully transcending the absurd. Instead, he advocates for a lucid acceptance of the absurdity of life, coupled with a commitment to live fully and passionately. Conclusion: the many faces of meaning. The question of life's meaning has no single answer, as demonstrated by the diverse perspectives of leading philosophers. Existentialism suggests that meaning is created through authentic choices. Nihilism warns of the void left by the collapse of traditional values, yet offers the possibility of creating new values. Utilitarianism finds meaning in the promotion of collective happiness, and absurdism embraces life's inherent lack of meaning, finding purpose in the struggle itself. These philosophical perspectives highlight that the search for meaning is deeply personal and multifaceted. Each individual must confront the question of life's meaning in their own way, drawing on the insights of these and other thinkers. Whether through creating values, contributing to the greater good, or embracing the absurd, the quest for meaning remains a central, inescapable aspect of the human condition.